As you can see here, I've got another piece of video which is about 12 seconds in length. I've done a little bit of editing on this, but nothing we haven't covered in the previous videos. Let me take you through what in fact we have. If I hit the play button here, we can look at the video as it was shot. There's a nice bit of movement here with the bird, and I think 12 seconds just about covers the main movement. What I've done is to add a couple of adjustment layers using levels to really darken down the outer edge and to just bring up the colour a little bit. I haven't actually added colour, I haven't had to. Just by adjusting the contrast has made the whole image a little more colourful. But we do have a few highlights here, and we do have rather a large piece of bright wood poking in on the right. So I created that second video group, added a new layer which you can see up here, and I've cleared all of those spots. Let me put my cursor back at the start, and we've now got a far better piece of video. But what I want to do here is add a texture to it. The way we're going to do that is to add a third video group. I'm going to reset my cursor back at the start, but then I'm going to go to the icon on video group 2 and create another video group, which obviously will be 3. I'm going to add a new layer to that. I'm going to do that via the layer options at the top of the screen, new layer. But from the blend modes here, I'm going to choose something a little different. I'm going to choose overlay, and from this option I'm going to tick the box to fill the overlay with a neutral colour which is 50% grey. Now you would think if we placed a layer over the top of everything we have here, 50% grey, everything will be obliterated beneath, but not with the mode overlay. Let me click OK, and you'll see the 50% grey layer over here, but you see it doesn't blot out the image or the repairs we've made. I'm going to leave, I can drag this to match the length of the video if I wish, but on this occasion I'm just going to make it, let's bring it up to about 7 seconds. What I'm going to do on here is to add a texture. Now generally speaking we normally make textures pretty delicate. I'm going to make mine a little bit heavier here for demonstration purposes, and I'm sure you'll understand when you see what we're going to do. I'm going to go to my filters and my texture filters, and I'm going to choose texturizer. That's the filter I wish to use. It's the burlap filter, which is the biggest, easiest to see. I've got the scaling up at its maximum, but I'm going to push the relief up just a little more. Normally we wouldn't choose quite that amount of scaling generally for a still image, but I think it'll serve our purposes here, and I'll click OK. So if I were to press play now, then that texture is applied to our entire image. But of course once we reach the end of that texture, we're going to instantly switch back to the standard video. So of course we do have the option to be able to stretch that layer out to match the length of the video clip we're working on, but perhaps this is one of those times when we may use one of these options. If I choose, let's say, a fade here, I'm just going to drag the fade down to the end of that clip, and I can make the fade longer or shorter. You can see I can see the duration is about 2 seconds. Let's make it a bit more. Let's make it about 2.5 seconds. Let me put my cursor back at the start and press play, because now we're going to get that texture nicely fade out, leaving our standard video beneath. Now you can see the screen has changed here, and what I've done is to render this video, so I've incorporated those adjustment layers and also the texture effect that we created and faded out about halfway through. I'm going to add another video group here, and I want an exact copy of this particular video. So I'm going to go over to my layers, hold down my Alt key and drag that layer into video group 2. So what I've got is two videos, one playing over the top of the other. But now I could make changes to one of these and then fade it in and out. Now I'm sure we could think of all sorts of colour effects we could apply to this layer, but about the two most common are going to be a monochrome and a sepia. Let's choose for this demonstration a sepia tone. What I'm going to do is to add an adjustment layer to video group 2. Choosing hue and saturation. If we tick the colorize box, we can see that a pretty good sepia tone is something around about 24 in the hue and anything from 6 upwards in the saturation, depending on the type of sepia tone that you like. Let's settle on 24 in the hue, 10 on the saturation. So we've created the entire clip now in sepia tone, but we know that if we click at the end here and drag that back, we can then go to this option and choose the fade once again. Let's have a bit more of that. We'll drag that out over a nice 3-second period. Let's put our cursor back to the start and press play. So we start off with our textured sepia tone kookaburra, and we not only lose the texture but the sepia tone too into glorious colour.